Morning, hun.
How you doing?
I went to go and see Jason, and lo and behold, he started passing me cases, luggage cases.
These were 8 high-tech hardshell suitcases, and we were going to see just how rugged they are. Luggage is one of the most crucial bits of kit you ever buy because you put all your gadgets and all your possessions into this device, and then you put it to someone else's hands at the airport. So there are 3 basic criteria. First of all, manoeuvrability. Number 2, a pressure test. And finally, impact. So 3 tests designed to find the ultimate suitcase.
Right.
And for our first test, we headed to Newquay Harbour.
This is the wheelability test.
Okay.
The concept is quite simple. I'm using this little skateboard ramp to provide some momentum. I'm going to let each case go.
Yeah.
It's going to come down the ramp and towards you. You've got to stay rooted to the spot, like a goalkeeper that's not allowed to move. If the case goes too far astray and ends up in the drink, it's failed the test.
OK.
There's nothing more annoying than a case that wants to go left, for example.
So it's really important, if it's got 4 wheels and it says it goes straight and it's got great bearings and it's going to be brilliant, it needs to be. There was a couple where you thought, they're surely going to tip over, because the wheels were tiny, absolutely tiny. And you think as soon as that hits anything a little bit uneven on the floor, that's just going to tip over or go skew-whiff.
You know what? It's not bad. It's got tiny wheels, but it must have good bearings on there, look.
So the trip light goes on to the next round?
Yeah.
Cool. There was a couple that did very well, but that, I think, is because they had 8 wheels instead of 4.
Oh! Straight as a die!
There was a couple that didn't do too well. Oh! That's rubbish!
Man, that's such a shame, isn't it? Oh, whoops!
The Skyflight was the only failure out of the first 7 cases we tested.
That's a die!
And so after some very impressive performances, we were down to our 8th and final case, the Hayes 4WD Metallica.
Boy, did I take pleasure in booting that one into the sea. Yay! I could have done it with all the other cases, but I just wasn't allowed because they worked. Second test was squashability. So we know when you take cases to the airport, the process that they go through on the carousels and being loaded on and off the planes, they get absolutely squashed and compacted. So we decided to put these gorgeous little vases in each one of the cases and attach them to a trawler as fenders, and then just squash the living daylights out with them.
Straight, Matt. Straight, dude. Just down there.
Squash test was brilliant. It was really good fun, and yet it was probably the most scientific, and I'd say that with a very small S. Polycarbonate, polypropylene, ABS. These are quite high-tech materials used in lots of gadgets. Perfect for cases.
That sound is brilliant.
Oh, did you hear the air come out of it?
Those cases were squashed within an inch of their lives. Well, they should be able to withstand all kinds of knocks and squashes. I mean, we certainly found out which were up to the mark.
Oh, something cracked.
That was a crunch.
Something cracked. Something is
That was a
broken
crunch and a half.
inside.
Most of them survived. There's only one that didn't.
The Impact Defence 24 was the cheapest of the 6 cases in our squash test, and it had failed because its corner had split and the vase we placed inside was damaged.
Ah, but Jace, if you notice, it's got a chip. Not massive. Still means it's damaged.
Yeah.
But amazingly, the other 5 cases had all survived the extreme crushing and managed to protect their precious contents. They had also mainly recovered their shape, even though some were now looking quite a bit creased. We still had one final test for our remaining 5 cases.
For the third test, Impact, we organised to go to a private road in a sort of private estate in Cornwall.
And what we decided to do was strap me into the back of our lovely van and just do our little Dam Busters reenactment and throw them out like little bombs. Tally-ho!
I kind of became Wing Commander Guy Gibson of 617 Squadron.
Bombay doors open.
Yep, they're open.
Now, the cases were clearly battle-scarred from our squash test.
Bombs away!
But would their contents survive this final assault?
The Victorian Ox! Goodbye!
Roger that.
Tally-ho!
Nice. Skid.
Goodbye! Oh, that one rolled. That was lovely.
But then we collected them all to see if any of the blighters had survived.
Well, I think structurally, once again, they've survived
intact.
extremely well. Some more damage, look, to the Delsey, but that's not helped by the fact that we chose the lime green version. The Victorinox is supposed to have a lifetime guarantee on it, but I'm guessing that when they watch what we did with their case, that might be invalid. This is only equivalent to a year's travel. Maybe the dent from the squashing on the trawler is a bit overkill, but all these scrapes, I've seen in some cases I've got from airports.
But because the vase inside the Victorinox was damaged, this meant it had failed our impact test.
See, there is little chippings here.
Can you see here? Can you see the impact? Where it's smashed against the casing.
The top-of-the-range Rimowa Salsa also failed. It had protected its contents, but it lost its handle.
And you can see here that all that is a single drill hole. They could double up on that and make it a little stronger.
So, on to the ratings for our survivors. And it's 4 Gs for the Del C Helium, which fortunately is available in other colours.
It's 4 Gs too for the mid-priced Eminent Move Air, which was also the lightest of all the cases we tested.
But it has to be 5 Gs for the budget price, Trip Light. It took everything we threw at it and looked the least damaged case at the end of our test.